This is Uncouth Tangents. I'm your host, B.
And I'm your host, Dove.
And welcome to the show.
That's what you want? What you really, really want?
Tell me what I want, what I really, really want.
God, Spice Girls reference. Cut that shit out.
What a spicy world we live in. I'm leaving it in. Wait, no, you're editing this one.
Ha ha, bitches.
Mental note to Dove. Keep this in.
Sorry.
Keep that other segment in.
No. Listen. This is a real story. You got to get closer. You gotta really listen.
I can't. The mic won't let me.
I saw a scary movie on Friday
That's good.
Was the worst. This was the worst.
I breathed in really hard.
Did you have trouble? Did you forget how to exhale?
Well, I didn't want to breathe into the mic. I gasped and I forgot how to...
Do you need medical attention?
I forgot to do the thing after the gasp.
Should I get a funnel? Okay, so I saw, usually Friday nights will be scary movie night because I love scary movies. However, this particular one on Netflix was terrible.
What movie was it?
It was some shit like, and this is huge spoilers for anyone that would be interested in seeing this shitty ass
have like one
movie.
Episode where we don't talk about spoilers?
No, fuck it. Spoiling everything. Shitty ass movie. So it was called something like, I'm the Pretty Thing That Lives in This House. And it's a Netflix original
Oh, there's your
horror
problem.
film. No, some of them are really good. But it wasn't even the story that was terrible for this one. Even though it had a very cliche beginning to it as far as, oh, it's so scary to be in a house with an old woman that you have to take care of. Like, I don't know why.
You mean my mom?
Well, she was a hospice worker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so for a lot of scary movies, for some reason, that is a scary setting to be in a new house with an old person that needs medical help. Or that needs assistance because they're elderly. And so it could be kind of a cultural thing where some cultures tend to see old people as, ew, gross, you're old, I'm going to put you in a nursing home or some shit like that. Versus other cultures where they're like, everyone lives here until you're dead. You know, we take care of you because you took care of us.
That's such a depressing outlook to consider somebody like... I feel like a lot of old people are actually like fully functioning. There's just, they have to think so hard about everything around them because that's what I'm doing right now. And I can't imagine me doing that like 100 years from now.
Exactly. Also, 100 years from now, you'll be 130 something. So unless you have cyborg parts, you're probably going to be dead.
No, I'm going to be a zombie king.
Spoiler. A zombie king?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember the plan.
All right. We're still sticking with it. So anyway, so that part of the cliche story or setup was already kind of bothersome as far as like, oh, okay, one of these movies. But the directing was really awful. For an example, there was a scene where the main character, it's literally 4 people in this movie, this entire film.
It's like a stage play.
I guess so. And so the hospice worker, which is supposed to be the pretty thing that lives in the house.
I was really hoping. Lady. I was really hoping that was the ironic part. Is like, oh my god, the old lady was the most pretty one at heart.
Yeah, because this lady was damn. But anyway, and so there's a scene where this hospice worker is on the phone in the kitchen because old school, that's where the phones are, in the kitchen.
It's a rotary phone.
Basically. And so the shot is there's a table. So the camera's in front of you. There's a table that's also in front of you. There's a chair pushed into the table on your right side. Mm-hmm. And the hospice worker, the lady, is on the phone in the background on the left side of the screen. Okay. And she's blurred out. And so the chair is in full view.
Focus.
Yeah, yeah, focus. That's the the proper word. And so the chair is in focus, and the camera keeps cutting back to this chair while the hospice worker is on the phone. So this says, as a person that's watching a film,
This is a good ass chair.
something is about to happen with this chair. This chair is important. And so it cuts to the character. Then it cuts back to the chair. Cuts to the character. Then the character gets closer to the chair. You're like, oh shit, it's a scary movie. You know, like a ghost is about to move the chair or some
Haunted
shit like
chair.
that. Yeah, it's haunted. Something's about to happen
Yeah.
with this chair. And after all this build up, the bitch just pulls the chair out and sits down in it. And that was it with the chair. All of this build
built
up
up
to
for
sit
nothing?
in the chair.
That's kind of amazing.
No, this movie was
I
awful.
kind of want to watch this now because maybe they're being really subversive and they're like, there really is nothing wrong with the chair. It really
Possibly.
is just an old woman who needs help. How dare you think she's
Yeah.
terrifying?
But to call this a horror film, it could have just been a drama. It could have just been a drama. And so anyway, there's all this build up about how this hospice worker is alone in this house, and the beginning of the film, she says something like, oh, I already was trying to send signs to myself that I was going to die soon or some shit like that. You're like, okay, so
She's a time traveler?
like maybe I'm looking at her as a ghost. You know how sometimes they have that interdimensional kind of setup where, you know, all of these things are playing out, like the TV is coming on and it's going off, but you see the character turn the TV on and turning it off. Yeah,
But she's old.
Yeah, well, but yeah, in the real reality, no one is there. So it's like, in the real reality, the people that are there are just seeing this happen. And so the person that's actually making the motion of the TV going on and off, they're the real ghost. So I thought it was going to be this type of setup. But then she
Like a
was...
Sixth Sense kind of thing?
Right, but then she was interacting with another character, a guy who would come and check in every week, the person that ultimately hired her for the job.
Unless that guy's a ghost too.
Right, exactly.
Who gives jobs? What an amazing ghost. What a giver.
Exactly. And so the most part of this movie is spent with this hospice worker finding out that the old lady was an author that wrote about a lady that was in the walls. And so now I'm confused because of, okay, you're obviously not the ghost, because the ghost is in the book, not literally in the book, but the ghost is part of the book that you're reading. Mm-hmm. You know, the ghost is a different story that's being told in this book now.
Well, just tell me that story. Don't tell me this story.
Yes, exactly. And so then as she's reading this book and she's saying to the person that comes in every week, oh no, I shouldn't read that book because I'll just run screaming down the street. I would be so scared. So that's the setup to the ending. I'll get to there in a second. And so as she's reading the book, or as she's moving through the house, we're getting retold, or we're being introduced to the ghost that the story is about. And it's just a lady in a Victorian dress that has her feet backwards. And so
That's it?
yeah. And so, but it's showing how she came to be a ghost, which is
She tripped and fell down some stairs.
oh, wait, almost. She has on a blindfold and she's walking around slowly in the house. And so this guy is looking at her. We never know who the guy is. Maybe they were together or something, but why do you have on, you know, like a
blindfold?
A blindfold over your eyes.
Is this the worst pin to tail on a donkey?
Oh gosh, it was so awful. And so then the lady, the ghost, who we're back in time now, looking at what has happened to this lady. Meanwhile, there has been a little bit of build-up. They show little clips of it. And so finally at the last clip, they show the lady with the blindfold on, who the actual ghost is. And she gets to a hole in the wall that I guess this man has made. We never see...
man-made hole.
Yeah, we never see the
A manhole, if you will.
We never see the man make the hole. It's just a hole in the wall.
The glory hole.
Yeah, and so it would have been it's so much better if that was in the movie. And so then this ghost lady, whose name is Polly, she takes off her blindfold when she gets close to the hole in the wall.
Wait. Oh, okay.
Did I miss something?
No, I forgot she had a blindfold. You were
Okay.
making a motion like an eye patch. And
I don't know how to do it. No one can see this, but okay. So she takes off her blindfold, and in slow motion, she looks to the left to the guy that was in the room watching her with this blindfold, and he has a all of a sudden he has a hammer in his hand. And then you see her, or yeah, you see her kind of lurch slightly forward. And then they cut. The bitch doesn't even fall down the hole. Like, they just show him putting the hammer up in the air and then going to strike her in the head.
So there's not even any gore in the movie.
No, there's none. So how did her feet get to be turned backwards? It's so stupid. So now she has backwards feet. They never showed her being shoved into the hole in the wall.
Oh, so she was shoved in the hole in the wall.
Apparently, because then it shows after that he's got blood all over the wall in his hands, and he's patching up the hole in the wall.
And nobody describes his motive?
No. He's just there.
He didn't even take out like a huge insurance policy on her?
No,
Nothing.
and they had to know each other because they're both in the house. She's blindfolded, walking around really slowly in her Victorian dress.
He could have broken in, and she just has one of those blindfolds to sleep at night?
They didn't show that.
Okay.
They just showed them both being in the same room. They had to know each other, but he all of a sudden didn't want to see her Victorian dress anymore and bashed that bitch in the head and shoved her in the wall and then started closing it up. So that's the story, half-assed story of what's in the book that now this present day...
Oh, I forgot that was in the book.
That now this present day hospice worker is reading, who the author is the old lady who doesn't speak, because apparently if you're old and you need assistance, you can no longer talk, which is what this movie says. And so this is, at this point, all of this of what I told you, the movie's almost over. So I'm like, what the where's the movie? When was I scared? And so they use a lot of screech sounds to try to do the jump scares, and it just does not work. Because what are you jumping for? Nothing ever happens. You never see her get bashed in the head. You never really see anything. And so out of nowhere, like for example, this is the end of the movie now.
Okay.
And so after this hospice worker reads the book, she hears some sounds downstairs, of course, because in a house you have to hear the sounds downstairs so that you can go down there and see some creepy shit.
It's never just like right next to you. Like you can't just be really lazy about it. Just look over there. No, it's just that thing. Whatever.
Yeah. No, you have to go downstairs or into a basement, which luckily there wasn't because that would have been even more cliche. So she just goes.
It would have been something.
It would have been something, and it would have been a lot more scary than everything else that they've had up to this point.
Yeah, because right now the scariest part is the threat of mortality from an older person.
Exactly. So she follows the sound downstairs and she's walking around trying to find what the sound is. And so they do the screech sound and the jump cut to her eyes. So in her eye, you see the reflection of the lady with the backwards ass feet. Mm-hmm. And so it zooms out to the hospice worker's face. And she has this shock of horror on her face, like she's just seen a ghost. It's so cliche. It's so awful. And she dies of a heart attack.
How old is this lady?
She's like 30. No. She is 28 because she says, I will never see my 29th birthday. And I didn't know. So like all of this.
Wait, so this is all.
She's telling the story of her reading a book.
But she's dead, so like, is she now a ghost with the lady? Oh my god, I would ghost fight that lady so hard. you kill me, I'm gonna haunt your ass now.
That would have been a better ending to what actually happened. So she has this heart attack, and of course she's passed out on the floor, her actual body, and so now her ghost has appeared into the house, and she sees her body, and of course,
ghost fight.
Yeah, and of course there's no emotion. There's no like, fuck, I died. There's none of that. She just sees her body. Well, before she sees her body, I think she sees her body because some guy is coming to patch a mold spot on the wall, which I guess was the what do you call it when it's premeditated, like something that you show before you want to.
Oh, foreshadowing.
Yes. So this mold spot was apparently foreshadowing the dead lady that's in the wall.
Okay.
But
so
the only thing with this mold spot that ever happened was the hospice worker saw it, called a maintenance person, and then after her body's dead on the floor, her ghost body sees her dead body, and then just goes and looks out the window at this maintenance guy that's knocking on the door to come and fix this moldy patch. And then she's like, well, I'm dead now. Can't open the door. So she goes back upstairs. She goes back upstairs to the old lady's room, sees that the old lady is now dead on the floor, and then looks to her right, sees the old-timey ghost of the lady. Like, so now there's an apparition of the author back when she was an author writing the book about
ghost writer.
apparently. So writing the book about Polly, the lady that's dead in the wall. And then the two ghosts don't even see each other. And so the author...
Wait, one of them has to be fake. Like, you can't just write...
So, like, the author ghost leaves out of the room to go try to talk to the ghost Polly, because that was how she wrote the book. She was having, she was getting whispers from the ghost Polly. But you never see them interacting anymore. So now there's apparently 3 ghosts in this house that never see each other, never interact with each other. And the ending line or what happens at the end is there's a new family in the house. And so the hospice worker, who's still narrating, she's saying, oh, I own the house. I am the house now, and I can only allow you to borrow it, or some shit like that. And it's like, what are you talking about? There was somebody that died before the both of you. So if anything, she owns the house, the first ghost, or the old lady, because she was the last one to die. So that was her house. She actually owned it. So what are you talking about? You're just like the mid-ghost. Get the fuck out of here.
You don't have to stay here. Go back to your own house.
Yeah, but now she's like, I live here now. You know, and so it was a bad movie. It was so awful.
This just sounds regular bad. Like, this doesn't sound enjoyable bad.
Right, and this was regular bad. So it was not even for bad movie night. I don't think it was a case of maybe things went over my head and I didn't get it. It was not scary. It was not even a slasher. It wasn't enjoyable in any way. I did watch it from beginning to end because I was really determined to figure out where am I supposed to be scared, and then realized that I was towards the end of the film, and damn it, nothing has happened. I thought the chair was at least gonna fly into the lady's body and knock her across the room, and that didn't happen. At the most, the only thing that they showed was the phone that she was on in the beginning. The long cord was being lifted up slowly off of the floor and then pulled so that eventually the phone would fly out of her hand. And then that's when she was like, I didn't know that I was giving myself signs from the very beginning. Like it was supposed to be her ghost giving her present self signs that she was going to die. Yet that never came to pass at the end of the movie that she was even interacting.
But you're the narrator. Also,
exactly.
Like, there's so many things wrong with this.
It was awful. Super bad.
Well,
I encourage you to watch it.
You may have found a movie worse than Batman v Superman.
Oh. Yeah, at least something like that, we kind of get what it's trying to do.
No, it doesn't.
Well.
The movie's awful. How long was this movie?
Regular Netflix film. I guess nearly...
Like an hour and a half?
Almost 90 minutes.
That's actually pretty good. Like, I don't mind movies that know they're bad so they won't waste your time. Like, Batman v Superman is a movie that thinks it's grandiose and doesn't understand it's a bad movie. And so it's like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah. I guess superhero films are getting a bit long. Wonder Woman was super long.
Yeah, that was 2.5 hours too.
Was it 2.5 hours?
It was.
My ass felt like it was 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that movie was hell long.
But it was good.
Did you like it?
I did like it.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert that I liked it.
We're going to talk about this movie now.
Yeah, so I really did like it. There was only, well, I will say what I did like. I like that her costume was a little more, it was more modern than what you would see in the comics. You know how they would use the very vibrant, aggressively bright colors? I liked how it looked more natural, even though it was obviously her uniform is still flashy, yet I think it worked well. And she didn't have on high heels, which I also liked, because running in high heels.
Nonsense.
Only streetwalkers are good at that. Only streetwalkers.
Well, if you trained in the Amazon, to fight in high heels.
She had a little bit of height, but it was more like a
Yeah.
wedge.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like a stiletto,
No, yeah.
like Catwoman or something like that. I really enjoyed the story. The one part that I didn't like was when the guy character, forgot his name. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. So so when the guy character, he says when he's leaving towards the end, spoiler, everyone has seen it by now.
No one has seen this movie.
Yeah. I'm sure they have. They listened to this 2 years after we posted.
Well, I was writing and my ghost told me that the guy at the very end of the movie.
Exactly. And so when he says to her, I love you, and then leaves, it's like, bitch, we knew each other for 4 days.
Yeah, not only that, but she's a baby. Like, she has a baby mind. Like, I have kind of an issue. So
What do
my
you mean,
bigger
baby mind? She was highly intelligent. She read all of the books.
was she was she really
She
intelligent?
read all of the books.
She didn't know what snow was.
But she read about it.
No,
She
she
just didn't
didn't.
experience it.
She didn't understand what no man's land meant.
Well, who does?
The name is in the explanation is in the name.
That's up for debate.
She acted almost a little too innocently and too naively, where I'm like, dude, you're hitting on a baby. Like, this is like, don't do this. Like, she
Oh, that's
barely
what you
understands.
thought?
Like,
She's so innocent and pure.
kind of, and they made her too much of that, and she has childlike tendencies where, and this all comes from the writing. I think all the women who worked on the set, who worked on the movie, did an amazing, phenomenal job.
Definitely.
The Amazonians, the Amazon peoples, women, they were actually acted by female athletes, women athletes. So
Nice.
that's why they actually have like naturally like muscular bodies. They're not like scrawny women who are just beautiful or whatever. So they actually
I think I
sought out.
Yeah, I think I partially realized that. Like I didn't focus too much. I didn't see much of the lady body, but
No, they're like brute strength kind of women. I was like, that's awesome. Like they're not
Cool.
like skimpy outfit like
I'm beautiful.
supermodel. No, they look rough. They like some of these women. I'm like, dude, I do not want to be in an alley with that lady unless she was on my side.
awesome.
But like, so this is where the writing becomes problematic because it's still written by a man. So a lot of these are from like man perspectives that women had to kind of clean up and fix his stupid ass mistakes. So a lot of it is her being so naive and being so childlike, and Gal Gadot, I think is her name, the actress, had to like kind of play it off. But I mean, everybody has to work with the script that they're given. They can't just change it on the fly usually.
Well, she's a virgin with the lasso of truth. Of course she's gonna be innocent.
So you know how like when a baby says mama, mama,
Yeah.
mama, okay, or like when they repeat something that they want over and over again until they get it. I heard the word Aries so many times coming out of her
Okay.
mouth, and it was very cringeworthy every time she said it, because almost every conversation she had with the male protagonist, the male love interest, was like, when are we gonna get to Aries? I thought you were gonna take me to Aries. Let's go see Aries. Have you seen Aries? Oh my god, I've been trying to find Aries this whole time. I have to stop Aries. Oh my gosh, please come up with other lines of dialogue. It was very grating on that. But aside from that, I thought the action was great. I thought the fighting was good. I think DC learned to have comedy and humor in their movies now, so that it's not so just downer all the time. And I think they actually built up to something sort of. But there's just another problematic thing that I have in my head, which is I don't know if World War II exists in this world or not, because she's coming in at World War One, and at the end of the movie, she's having this amazing dialogue about how I'm here to defend the Earth against anything else, any wars or anything that may come against humanity. Well, you sure fucked up on World War II, the Cold War, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Iraq conflict. I can go on. Like, you fucked up a lot. Like, you didn't do anything, actually, unless none of that exists in this world, and we are just living happily, only concerning ourselves with what Batman's doing or whatever Superman has been doing.
That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, like there's real big problems in the script. But like I said, like script was written by a dude who probably didn't care and was like, whatever, I have to write this dumb Wonder Woman movie. I'll just do this in the weekend. And then like somebody else who cared more about it, which is Patty Jenkins, the director, like definitely wanted to show. And I think in that respect, it's well done.
Awesome. Okay. I think that's a good analysis. Of
Sorry, that was a huge rant.
I hate this movie so much. No, I think it is a good analysis of it because you picked apart certain things that I didn't notice. Like I was more so thinking about how things would actually exist in a real relationship versus what they're showing on the screen. Like the only example that I brought up, how he says, how he tells her that
I love you.
yeah, like he loves her. And I get that there actually is this thing where if you're in a traumatic situation with a person, that you could actually develop loving feelings towards them. So that is an actual thing. However, I don't know. I just thought it was a bit much. I would have said
Beauty
something.
and the Beast style of love.
I would-
Traumatic experience. I'll make you love me.
Exactly. I would have said something like, you know what? You're an awesome person. I gotta go. Goodbye. Versus so deep. I love you. I'm about to die, so I have to tell you that I love you.
I will say their on-screen chemistry was well done. Like, I mean, I think we've mentioned this before. Like, some things you kind of just have to fast forward in a movie. Like, did we just become best friends? Yes, we did. So, did we become lovers? Yes, we did. Cut to morning where they're both waking up from bed. I thought that was classy. That was a tasteful callback to 1940s, 50s style
Tasteful.
movies.
Just meet somebody. Hey now.
Oh no, I just meant like the sex scene that's in the movie is just them like kissing. They lie down in bed. Fast forward to morning. Oh, okay.
Now they're in
bed.
love.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he is in love at that point. It's like, virginal Amazonian woman.
I expected something to kind of change about her. Nothing. Like she didn't like change at all.
This is
after
the
that.
same. I read about this shit in the book.
Yeah.
Didn't need a guy after all.
Yeah. Unimpressed. Just really couldn't be more like, unsatisfied. I guess that's it. Like I guess all we talk about is movies and now.
Well, that's the end of this episode.
I'm so hungry. I'm gonna go get something to eat.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
I'm gonna go get food. Oh, right. Goodbye.
Bye.